Thank you for this opportunity.
Can you just give us a general reaction to being elected bishop? What are your thoughts and feelings at this moment? Please?
My word. Look at God. Look what God has done. This is just monumental. I'm at a loss for words right now. It's just been incredible to have the opportunity. And then God showed up and showed out through the South Central jurisdiction to elect their first African-American woman bishop in the history of the South Central jurisdiction. And so it means a lot to stand here to represent and finally say, we are here and we are not done. We are not done.
I was going to ask, so all the work you've done on racial justice in the rape claims and elsewhere, what is this? Can you put it in words what it means to be elected with all the work you've done as the first African American?
Yeah, what it means to be elected means to me that things are moving. Though they are slow, things are shifting. And the doors are opening up ever so slowly, but it is happening. A lot of work has happened for me to stand here, because I do not stand here alone, nor did I get here alone. But a lot of people have sacrificed for me to be here in this moment today. And so it means that we are moving forward ever so slowly, but we are moving.
Did the three names coming up on the first ballot, how much of a surprise was that, and how much of a surprise was that whole chaos?
It's almost like a blur. It was like, they did what? It's like you're looking at the screen and it's like, the numbers are what? And you're like, oh my Lord, oh my word, it happened. It happened. What does that mean?
But for two others too.
Yes, for everyone. And I was just so caught in the moment. And then I heard all three. That is amazing. So I know that's a move of the Spirit. That's a move of God for all three people to be elected with two first ever. So just amazing. I'm still speechless about the whole event, but powerful. Oh, my mom. She said, what did she say? She said, what? And then she said, did you get elected? And we told her yes, because I had to have somebody else help me talk with her. And she goes, what did they do? And then she says, well, my word. My word. Where are you? My word. And so I told her, Mom, you did it. She goes, I did? I said, Mom, you did it. You did it. I was put here for a reason. And you know, there's a picture of me as a one-day-old baby, and my eyes are open and my fist is clenched, but my eyes are as open as they are right now. And it's just amazing to see the photo of that, to say there was something already happening, even in that one-day-old baby. So, yeah, but she's pretty excited.
Dee, can you speak about just how important representation is? You know, we spoke to one of our delegates from Louisiana, who's an African-American female, who was the first African-American female in several different appointments where she was in her life as a pastor and also as a district superintendent now. Just how important is representation, both from your perspective, the first Native American, how important is representation?
Yeah, the world is made up of diverse people, background and ethnically, and it is important that we see all people represented at the table. As a little girl, I did not see people who looked like me, you know, working in particular places, so there was no representation to even think that you could be, you know, like the CEO of that bank, or you could work in that mall, that grocery store, because there were very few where I grew up that had those opportunities. And so as a little girl, had I had those opportunities to watch another African-American woman go through the particular steps to become who she wanted to be, maybe it would not have taken me this long to figure it out, because there would have been a model there. There were models, however, they were not in the community. And so the community was predominantly white, and so you didn't see a lot of people of color working or doing things in other particular positions that you saw a lot of the white citizens in. And so representation means a lot, even for my grandchildren who are cross-racial. Their mother is white, my son looks like me, and for them to see their grandmother and that their grandmother can be a catalyst for change, that they too can achieve and aspire to do great things in their lives and in the careers that they will embark upon, and that when they get there, that there will already be representation there. I looked at a picture of myself just recently. I was looking at a tub of pictures, and I had a picture of me standing there with my eyes wide open, holding a little white baby doll. Now, to me, at that time, it was just my baby doll. But then when you look at it in today's standards, the question would be, why didn't she have a little black doll? And so representation means a lot, that there's the black Barbie dolls, that there are the, the black, from politicians to pastors to corporate players to billionaires and Oprahs in the world. And so this means that there are others waiting in the wings, and the door has been opened. And the door should remain open for others, so other little girls, little black girls, can aspire to be bishops or elders and bankers or community organizers, especially in places like Kansas. Amen. And so you don't find that in Kansas too much. You find it in the larger cities, but not so much in the smaller places. But you have an opportunity to be somebody or who God has called you to be. It also represents for me the Sojourner Truths of the world, and I used to do a Sojourner Truth rendition, and that it doesn't matter where you came from or how you came as long as you show up. And so she showed up and she spoke her mind, and she's traveled the country, and she talked about what was going on in her day and time. And so there are many Sojourner Truths out there that are 4 and 5 years old, and they need representation at the table. So hopefully.
We have time for one more question.
So it's quite an accomplishment. It hasn't sunk in now the task that's ahead of you. and leading not just a conference, but actually a denomination in, for lack of a better word.
Yes, yeah.
Has that sunk
Whew.
First time.
I'm still trying to find words because I'm still so speechless, but it's in the back of my mind. And I was just thinking before I came over here about 10, 15 minutes ago, it's time for boots on the ground. Got to get ready. I've got my combat boots ready that I used as a soldier. And knowing that there was a whole group of people from the Great Plains to colleagues, friends, family, other leadership teams from the Black Methodist for Church Renewal in the South Central jurisdiction to the Women's Leadership Team to the Great Plains Annual Conference and delegation who helped me get here, because there's no way I could get here by myself. And so many other people from the other delegations too who heard my words and that hear where I'm coming from and are curious about who this person is, but has the gifts and graces and the willingness and the passion to want to serve, to get out there and let's make disciples of Jesus Christ, to transform the world right now, because we have what we need right now to do that. Regardless of what's going on, God is with us. So.
Bishop-elect Williamson, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
What was your response to not only being elected, but the three for one? What went through your mind in those 2 minutes?
I don't think I have words for that even yet. I think the main thing that just as a member of this jurisdictional conference, I had great hope that we were going to elect our first black woman and the first Native bishop for the whole denomination. That I really hoped that this would happen, and that it would happen in a decisive way. And so then to see all three, I don't know. I don't have words. I need to think some up. I didn't know that would be a question, or I'd been thinking about that. But it's dizzying, honestly. I mean, that's how I felt. And so, and lots of joy, just gratitude, especially for the election of Dee and David. But to be a part of that is just joy. Yeah. So.
What are you asking God for as far as traits that serve you as you become a bishop, lead in time?
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, I've been trying to pray for a centered heart, and one that I think the whirl of this process is one that can be disorienting. And so even the days that have led up to this one have been days where I've asked God for a clarity of my own identity, a clarity of where I stand, and why I'm here. So I think that grounding, right, that just our personal centeredness is so important. And then, I think it's real easy to see the ways that, we're afraid we don't have what the moment will require. But the things I ask for are courage and open-heartedness, and a spirit of imagination, and again, joy. I think we need that in each other, and the church needs that to be able to weather this moment that's so hard for us. So I think it's courage, it's imagination, and it's trying to enjoy the road until I know something better to answer.
It's been a long journey. You were with the other candidates in 2019, Oklahoma City, and then just weeks later the world shut down.
Right.
What was the most rewarding part about the journey for you? Now that you've been elected and you kind of reflect on what's happened from that time?
Gosh. I mean, it was kind of double discernment. That the whole fall of 2019 was a lot of discernment for me personally. And so to kind of get to like, okay, let's do this, and that was hard then at the beginning of 2020. I think then in the middle, in between that time and this time, it hasn't been sort of this pressing question. Are you still going to run for bishop? It's like, bishop of what and when? And like that didn't feel like a thing until it became a thing. And so once this process cranked back up, I think as short a time as it's been since the last kind of go-round and preparing for this in 2020, it's been a lot of water under the bridge. And so I have learned about myself. I think I've learned about the church. I've learned about the challenges that face us. And so rediscerning this sort of has, I guess I would just say that it's required a deepening of the things that I had to figure out the first time. Everything's more complex. As hard as it felt in 2020, coming out of 2019, this is different, right? It's multidimensional hard in a new way, and it will continue to be for us. Those things will unfold and continue to be more complex in new ways that we didn't expect. So I think it's just, again, it's been a process of centering and of and just feeling a call to serve the church in this moment. And it was up to the church to determine whether that would be as a bishop or not. But I'm grateful to be serving alongside the other people in my conference right now, and then to look forward, especially to these two with whom I've been ushered into this crazy day today, just look forward to that, being part of that team.
You were a protege of Bishop Sines. What kind of inspiration did you get from him and advice either directly or indirectly?
Yeah, Bishop Sines and I served on the cabinet together in Rio, Texas, and walked through the unification process of Southwest Texas and Rio Grande conferences. And, you know, Bishop Sines, he doesn't see anything that can't be done, right? He's big, and he sees big, and he expects big from other people. And so it is infectious in a good way, contagious. It's inspiring to work for him, and also that vision of a multicultural, community of faith that's close to the ground, right? That's reflecting the people in the neighborhood. Like that, he hooked me with that before he left us. And I'm very inspired by that kind of vision. Yeah.
Bishop Merrill, we thank
Yes.
you for being here with us today.
Sure.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Dr. Wilson?
Yes.
What was your response to not only being elected, but being elected as one of 3 on the first ballot, which is unprecedented as far as we know? What was going through your mind with all that?
Yeah, first of all, we get up there and we have the ballot snafu, and with, oh my gosh, now I'm going to have to wait till Thursday. And of course, we're all anxious to get the ballot going and moving, and appreciate Bishop Snasey moving it along. But, we knew somebody would be elected on the first ballot. Never had any dream that 3 of us would be elected on the first ballot. And so, of course, now we're saying, what do we do for the next 2 days of that? and of course, the second piece, heard my friend Dee talking about this, the history for the United Methodist Church for the first Native American bishop ever elected in this denomination. Yeah, and I think about that story. Many of you know the history of our indigenous peoples around this country. For the Oklahoma Indian Missionary Conference, where I was born and raised, come out of our people removed from homelands in the early 20s, evangelized by the Methodist Church. 2 or 3 years later, remove us from our homeland, send us to what was in Indian Territory, Oklahoma. So, 180 years of history with this Methodist Church. And all the time, making inway into the life of the church. Our people, our ancestors bought into Christianity. And people ask often, say, why would Native people want to be a part of the Methodist Church or Christianity given what's happened in this history? We've talked about the boarding schools, the horrific stories of boarding schools, removal from our homelands. But we said, when we look at Christianity and when you talk to our elders, that the premise of that is so much like our spirituality. You take care of each other, you love one another. And in its essence, that's what Christianity is. It was just never lived out that way for our people. And so all the stuff we've done, it's been a people of first. Moving to Indian Territory, one of the very first things our people did was to recreate the Methodist churches. And so we are proud of being United Methodists. We're proud of the work we do in Oklahoma Indian Missionary Conference. And this, of course, is the first, which is hard to wrap my head around sometimes, being the very first Native American bishop in the United Methodist Church. I think we're the last denomination to do this across this country. And we tried, we worked. And I share with folk as well that, and Dee, I think Bishop Dee shared the same thing, is that she herself being the first first black female bishop in the South Central jurisdiction. We make history, and unfortunately, we have a lot to live up to with that history. There's a lot riding on our shoulders, whether we like it or not, of the legacy and how we represent our people. But also, the most important thing is showing people our value and our worth, and how we're going to make it happen.
We asked Dee about the importance of representation.
Yes.
And how that pays real dividends down the road for others. Can you talk a little bit about that from your standpoint, with all the history that's going on with Native people?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the big piece of representation is remembering all across the church. I've been a part of the United Methodist Church since 7 or 8 years of age. Before it was United Methodist Church as a young boy. and then growing up and later serving on many boards and agencies and in so many places, General Commission. I think this is my 6th or 7th term here at Jurisdictional Conference there, and all the time looking at who is not at the table. I tell folk in interviews, everywhere I go, whether I'm teaching or at the university where I used to serve on the Board of Trustees and other places, I always look at representation, Todd. I always look at who's at that table and who is not at that table. And we work on that. People ask me often about becoming a candidate for bishop because folk want to see our people represented, Native folk, and that's so important. I heard Dee talk about youngsters looking up and say, if he or she can do this, then perhaps I can do that. And that would be a big piece for myself for the United Methodist Church to see that representation, to see that table. Just having one is not complete, but we're making some headway. And I'm excited, looking forward to where I'll be appointed and serving and certainly doing the best that I can. Yes?
What does electing 3 bishops on one ballot say about the unity of delegates here?
Oh, wow.
in this
Wow.
jurisdiction?
I think 2 things. One is an observation for the delegations that were present at this one. They were, when the bishop asked folks to stand up who were here for the first time, you saw how many new and young delegates we had. And the makeup was so different this time. The questions they asked were different. What was of most value for them was important, and looking for candidates. And I think for the 3 candidates who worked, who addressed their needs and issues of what we think we can do for the United Methodist Church. So that was probably the biggest difference, is the makeup of the delegations, which was wonderful. So enjoyed meeting with so many of them, and of course just the history piece of that. We've all traveled. We've done this. We've been at this since 2019. It's been a lifetime. In Oklahoma City, where we first interviewed in 19, and shortly after we shut down, and long 6 years. And so, but because of those 6 years, we get to know each other. There were 7 candidates. Dee and Laura and I think and Eddie been at the longest, and so we get to know each other and connect, and people resonate with who we are, our beliefs, and I think our presence in the church.
Grateful you were elected.
Thank you.
Let's give
That it. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.